Welcome to Mastering Life's Adventures, an educational podcast about tapping into your true self, the soul, the substance of your life, to discover what life's ups and downs are really about, and how to have a greater sense of purpose, peace, joy, and fulfillment. I am Dr. Judith Holder, your host, coach, psychologist, fellow seeker who enjoys diving into the connections between spirituality, psychology, wellness, and your everyday life's adventures. All preparing and polishing you like the facets of a magnificent diamond to be your best self. If you're craving more from your life, you are in the right place. Come, let's journey together and transforming what you know into who you really are. Mastering Life's Adventures begins now.
I have a question for you. How do you talk to yourself when you miss the mark? Most of us go straight to the inner critic about us not doing it right. I could have done it better. What if there's a better way? Not coddling, not excusing, self-honoring, treating yourself with the same dignity you offer someone you deeply care, love, respect. And today, we're talking in this episode about how self-honoring brings inner peace. 2 examples to give you a sense of that, self-honoring, and also some needed simple tips that can help you to integrate self-honoring into your everyday life. So welcome back. Today's simple key in soul progress is self-honoring. Picture it as living in a way that glorifies and honors the divine spark within you, your true self, your higher nature, your soul, the substance of your life. When you honor that, the inner war slows down. You don't have those gremlins. You're not getting annoyed. You're not getting frustrated with yourself. You're not ruminating. But instead, your mind softens. Your choices get clearer. And peace stops feeling so out of reach. So let's talk about what is self-honoring. It means recognizing the divine image within you, the spirit spark that exists within you, and then behaving accordingly. And the 4 words, I think, can help us with looking at how to be in alignment with self-honoring. It's just that. One of those words is being aligned. The other 3 words is being truthful, merciful, and accountable. Let's begin with truthful. What I mean by that is seeing it as it is. You're being truthful. No denial, no dramatics, no fabricating what may be going on. You're willing to see it as it is. And then next is merciful. I'm human. I'm learning, having a kind tone and steady heart. Accountable. And that means I'll repair what I can and choose to be better as I'm moving forward. And then aligned. I choose what strengthens my soul, not what splinters it. In daily life, I won't speak to myself in a tone I wouldn't use with someone I love. My yes and no come from clarity, not pressure. So that means there's some things that self-honoring is not. And let's clear up some of these counterfeits, I'll call them. For example, self-honoring is not self-indulgence. It doesn't rubber stamp harmful habits or behaviors. It's not narcissism. It's not me above all. It's the divine within me deserves integrity. It's not spiritual bypassing. No slapping positivity over real pain. Feel it and heal it. It's not perfectionism. It's about direction, not flawlessness. And it's not passivity. Honor without action is sentiment. Boundaries and amends count. Sometimes we need to take a gut check. After a self-care choice, do you feel clearer and more responsible, or numb and avoidant? Clarity and responsibility signal self-honor. If you're experiencing the other two, it's not self-honoring. Something else is going on. Because ultimately, what self-honoring gives to us is inner peace. And peace grows when the inner courtroom closes. When the inner chatter of yourself, you close it out. You say, gone for the day. And when you stop putting your soul on trial by being human, knowing that mistakes will happen and that you're able to move past those mistakes, do what you need to correct those mistakes, then you're on the path of self-honoring. There are some things that we have to be able to talk about and see in order for us to move towards self-honoring with reintegration, with integrity in your thoughts, your feelings, your choices, all pull in the same direction. Guidance gets louder. You begin to trust yourself more, and the intuition of your soul promptings is telling you to do certain things at certain times, and you're willing to act on that because you build up this momentum and self-honoring. Let me give you an example of how sometimes we overcommit, and that lends itself to dishonoring ourselves. Think of Doris. It's Friday. Her manager asks, can you take this on for Monday? Inside, she knows she's at capacity. She needs a break. She was looking forward to the weekend. But instead, she says, okay, yes, I'll do it. Her weekend's gone. Monday arrives. She's drained, edgy, and slightly resentful. Because she knows in her nature, she likes to get things early. So she began working on the assignment on the weekend, feeling obligated to do it, even though her manager said she could do it on Monday. But she felt Monday was too late. She has enough things on her plate and needs to get it out of the way. So what's the spiritual impact? We don't think about this when we're making these commitments. We don't think about this when we're grumbling inside. For the soul, she stepped over the inner truth to keep the peace outside. The soul feels split. That shows up as fogginess, restlessness, and dulling of the intuition. Feeling grumpy and maybe even resentful of having to take on more. How could she have done this in a different way that honors herself and her soul? She might have said something like, thanks for trusting me. To honor current commitments, I really can't deliver by Monday. I can get you a quality draft by Wednesday or help you find another option. That is a better direction. Truth plus mercy plus accountability. Your inner peace is preserved. You have more space to honor your soul and some of the things you want to do on the weekend. Another example about family members and boundaries and how that may move us away from honor ourselves by trying to help others. And this example is with Jason. And on Friday, after work, he was thinking about all the things he wanted to do just to reset and use his weekend to reset himself, sleep more, walk, and have some quiet moments. But then he got a text in the evening time. And it says, "Can you bring your truck at 8 a.m.? Oh, fear of something selfish started to kick in with him. It was like, I don't want to feel or be selfish. I'm going to say yes." And by evening on that Saturday, he was wiped out. He was snappy and grumpy with family. So again, what's the spiritual impact of the decisions we make? He didn't dishonor family by declining. He dishonored his soul by abandoning a clear restorative need without discernment. So we have to be really aware that there may be other alternatives that we can take or say that is in alignment with our soul, the substance of our life, and creating the space and the allowing us to be restored. What he could have done was pause, breathe, and say, "I want to support you. I've set Saturday for rest. I can help for 1 hour between 10 and 11, or bring the truck on Sunday after 2. What would be most helpful to you?" Either one, spending the entire day helping, drained his batteries even more. So this then, whether we're aware of it or not, that when we love ourselves and honor ourselves, it helps us to sustain our energy. It restores our energy. Here's a simple but nice way that you can think about self-honoring. I like to use acronyms. The acronym would be honor. Honor. The H is hear what's true. Name reality gently by saying to yourself, "I said yes too fast. I snapped. I'm exhausted. No drama." Then acknowledge and be true to yourself. Be aware of it internally, the dialogue that's taking place within you. Open to mercy. Put your hand to your heart. Take 3 slow, deep breaths and whisper to yourself, "I honor the divine life within. I choose patience as I learn." And let your body settle first. Before you make any decisions, name the need. What restores integrity, boundary, rest, apology, skill? Be specific. 90 minutes of planning, no Fridays this month. These are all the things that may honor the situation that you found yourself in. When you know you have to have boundaries for your self-care and honoring your need, to find other alternatives to help others. The first priority is honoring what you need at the time. The O is offer amends and order your steps. Take one action each day. Put support on your calendar to change. Put stickies up to remind you about what you have done to honor yourself, or you said you were going to do to honor yourself, or what you said you're going to do to be of service to others when you have the time, energy, and the desire to serve. Honor is realigned with the spoken word. Say it out loud to yourself. I honor the light within. I choose truth, mercy, and responsibility right here, right now. The spoken word anchors intention. It anchors what you're going to do, as if it allows you to remind yourself of what's important in the honoring of yourself, and also being able to help others without feeling as if it ends up being either or, but instead it's an addition to honoring myself. I can be able to do these other things. Put it on my calendar and keep mindful of my schedule so I'm not overloading myself. So here's some quick micro tips or tools I think you can use in your everyday life. We sometimes need to have boundary sentences. Thanks for asking. And to honor my current commitment, I need to decline. Or thanks for asking. Is there another time that would work? I can do something on this day or on that day. Would that be helpful? It goes into this delaying, using delay sentences to people to help them so that, the boundary and the delay can work together. I can't do it Monday, but I can do it Wednesday. How about that? Is it something we can plan on and I can lock into my schedule? And be aware of the self-talk tone that we sometimes have to reset with ourselves. If you wouldn't say it to someone you love, don't say it to yourself. Rewrite that line, rewrite that script in your mind, and be gentle, kind. We can be firm with ourselves, but we're not saying something to ourselves that we wouldn't say to another. And if you use some harshness with others, then you need to check that and look at why that's happening. Because the soul is very sensitive and it does not bode well with strong negative types of emotions of irritability and anger, frustration and resentment, and these screaming and ranting and raving about whatever's going on. So sometimes we literally need to reset the inner tone with ourselves. And then another tip, I'll give you two more tips, would be do a 90-second reset. Step away from the situation that may be going on. Take 2 deep breaths and ask, what honors my soul right now? And do that thing that honors yourself, giving you the promptings of what you need to do to handle the situation you may find yourself in. Now, the last tip, in order this pathway of self-honoring, is fix how you would do things in the future. After you miss something, or you had a challenge with trying to get a project done, or you found that you were missing important meetings and not really prepared to do the presentations at work that were part of your job, we have to be able to fix that and look into the future and be able to say to yourself, do I need a calendar? Do I need to block time? Do I need a checklist? Or accountability text? You want to do something that keeps you mindful and alert ahead of time. Keep it simple and repeatable. when we can engage in these little ways to have to shift ourselves and move ourselves to self-honoring, it quiets the mind for clear guidance. Many people and leaders discover that when they simplify and practice being fully present, their work sharpens. The principle holds for all of us. When you remove inner noise and honor what's true, choices get simple. Simplicity is merciful. Clarity is peaceful. So maybe there's something you can do in the morning, afternoon, or evening with micro ways or micro tips to help you with being more and more in alignment with self-honoring your inner self, the trueness of who you are, and checking in with yourself to see some of the things you say quickly yes to. You can step away and say, I need to pause there. That's the old way. I'm engaging in the new way with the understanding of the needs of my soul. So here's some thoughts from the morning time, either when you're waking up or when you're making decisions about what you want to eat. Just breathe and ask, what would honoring my soul look like today? Write down one behavior in your cell phone, date it, and speak. I honor the light within. I walk in truth, mercy, and accountability. In the afternoon, when you're feeling overwhelmed, name one small step. Do that, then reassess. Take things in bite-sized pieces. When you're finding that people-pleasing is tugging at you, take a breath. To honor my commitments, I say no. You breathe in and you know that request that's coming to you, but you're having a tug of war with wanting to please someone, but you know you're really low on energy or time. Then we need to be able to say, I need to honor the commitments that I currently have. I may be able to do that in a week's time. And then the other quality, if you're noticing it coming up in your day, is shame spikes. We get shameful about things. And when you're finding that shame's coming up, you want to put your hand to your heart, take 3 deep breaths, and say to yourself, learning, not losing. I'm learning. I'm growing. It's all okay. I'll be okay. And the evening time, when you're getting ready for bed and you're ready to turn off the light, remember to think, where did I honor my soul? Where did I not? What amends or adjustments for tomorrow that you want to make? And then say to yourself, I honor the light within my soul, the substance of my life. I rest in peace. So self-honoring is not pampering the ego or the ego persona. It's revering the divine life in you through truth, mercy, and responsible action. Practice it and notice how the inner courtroom gets quiet. The inner courtroom of chatter, of noise, of hustle and bustle gets quiet. Guidance gets clearer and peace feels normal. Something to think about. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining me for this episode on Mastering Life's Adventures, being your best self through soul evolution. If you have enjoyed what you've heard today, I would be delighted if you would share this episode with others, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe to my Mastering Life's Adventures podcast. Look forward to your joining the next episode. Please leave any comments or suggestions you might have below. Bye for now.